Michael Woodhouse.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I wasn't going to take a call yet in the first reading, but I do think that the call by Dr Clark warrants something of a response, because after a very long commentary, which sounded more like a political studies lecture, Dr Clark said the following two things. Well, he's a bit vexed. On the one hand, the family should have the ability to pass on assets through the generations, and on the other hand, should the state really pay for the care of the elderly when that happens? Well, that's a fair enough question to ask, I think, but Dr Clark needs to come off the fence and tell this House what he actually thinks. It's no longer enough to say on the one hand and on the other hand. MPs are required to hold a view. So I look forward in the second reading to hear what that view is. Should there be one or the other? But it's actually consistent with the dollar each way mantra that Labor has about this. Remember when we removed the gifting regime last year because it was completely irrelevant and wasn't working? What they didn't tell you in opposition to that was that about 7 years ago, when they were passing regulations around the deprivation clauses in residential care subsidies, they couldn't bring themselves to allow families to gift off $54,000 to couples. That was not good enough for them. They had to make it $27,000. So they completely unhooked the residential care subsidy tests from the gifting policy. Stupid policy, but now it doesn't really matter because the gifting regime is gone. But I suggest to the party on the other side that they need to stop sitting on the fence and tell this House what they really think about the regime overall, because this is actually a very sensible way of dealing with the increase. When house prices are flattening and going down, an inflation adjustment will actually benefit those people in this system in the short run. What happens in the long run, who knows? Relative to the value of their properties. Relative to the value of their properties. I reckon it's an excellent idea and I support it.
I call Dennis O'Rourke.
Mr Speaker.